Great, thanks. Thanks, Rick. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, good. We okay to start, Susie? Okay. So here I'm going to talk today about getting ready for Techxpo. And as Rick said, this is a probably a new gig for a lot of you. And I've been doing presentations for quite some time. I still remember my speech and presentation class here at Montana Tech. It was one of the more valuable lessons that I learned. Go ahead, Susie, next slide, please. So I want to talk about getting prepared. We're going to talk about posters and we're going to talk about public speaking. And the purpose of Techxpo is to demonstrate your work and to showcase your knowledge. And we'll dig into that a little bit more. And then to sell the audience. And I know most of you in the room are engineers or engineering students like myself. And selling is kind of uh, a challenge sometimes. Go to the next slide, please. And public speaking can be nerve-wracking. And if you're not nervous, you're probably not going to do a good job. One of my colleagues, in fact, the founder of Schweitzer Engineering, is a magical presenter. He just hits the ball out of the park every single time. And I said, Ed, what's your secret? I said, I said, are you nervous? He goes, yeah. He says, if you're not nervous, he said, you won't do a good job. He says, you're going to lose that edge, and the audience is going to pick up that that you're not taking them seriously. So he said it's having a little bit of nervous energy is really good. But to channel it, I find preparation is the key. So you need to know your material. You're all working on research projects. So the key is make sure you know your material. Okay. That's the key. And that's kind of a safety valve for me that I can fall back on knowing, the answers that the audience is going to expect by knowing the material. You also have to know the audience. We're going to talk about that. Who should you target? Are you going to have a bunch of Einsteins there, or are you going to have people from the public? We'll talk about how to target your presentation for your audience, and then knowing the forum or the venue. What's it going to be like? So, when I had to do this presentation, I came and checked this room out, made sure everything worked, okay? And also prepare and then practice. So I've got about an hour's worth of material for you here today, and probably took me about 8 hours of work to put it together. And hopefully I'll do an okay job. But I spent some time with Rick first understanding what's a Techxpo poster. I didn't know, so I had to understand that. So next slide, please. Okay, so let's talk about your audience. And so I broke it down into 4 different demographics for the audience. Number 1 is a tech student. There's going to be a lot of tech students there. That's your primary audience. Okay. There's going to be judges there. We're going to talk about what the judges are looking for. There's going to be faculty, and there's going to be a lot of the public. Okay. But none of the people in the audience are going to know your project, your subject to the depth that you do. None of them. Okay. So you need to make sure when you're talking to them, you're talking in terms that they'll understand. And for the vast majority of the audience, judges included, you're going to know more than they do. So you're going to have to tone down your discussion to meet them at their level. Okay. That's really important. Next slide, please, Susie. If you guys have questions, please speak up. I'd be happy to answer the questions. So what is your poster? So I thought about this for a little bit. And it's a technical sales tool. Okay. And so it has to reach the audience at their level and get your message across. And it's also a presentation aid. So you can be using this to help you kind of as a crutch when you're doing your presentation. And you need to be able to explain the value proposition. We'll talk about that. And then enough information to demonstrate the use of engineering first principles, F equals MA, Q equals MC delta T, that kind of stuff, or engineering standards. Okay. That you also went through a scientific process, followed the scientific method. and that you've got some validation for your results. You've got either the test or the analysis to show that your results are accurate. Next slide, please, Susie. Okay. So your project report is a scientific document. So I'm going to use an example today of a geothermal project we're working on. And here's the report for that. It's probably, I don't know, 15 pages or so. And it's got, detailed drawings and charts and tables and formula and references and all that. So this is really the detailed information on your project. Okay. And it's going to have all that in there, all the gory details. Okay. Next slide, please. But your poster is not that report. It's got a different purpose. Its purpose is to entice the audience and sell them on the main points of your project, the points you want to get across. So you need to keep it, like to say, clean and airy, easy, pleasing on the eye. And you're going to want to use large fonts, simple charts. You might pull stuff out of your report and cut and paste it. You're going to be doing your authoring in PowerPoint. Okay, so you can probably paste stuff over, but you may need to simplify some things. So I do a lot of presentations, and I'll pull charts and things out of internet or texts, but I'll often have to redo them to simplify them to eliminate information you don't need. Okay, and then for those people who want more details, have a copy of your report, maybe an extra copy or two. And for those very few who are interested, you've got your report. So you don't need to have everything, every gory detail on your poster. And next slide, please, Susie. Okay. So you need to make it inviting, clean and attractive, and have a logical layout. Okay. And so I've got some examples up here, and I know you can't read them from where you are, but you can see first of all, they're all good. They're excellent projects. Scientific method, demonstrates first principles, but they're all just a little different. Okay. So I thought it would be fun for you guys sitting there. Go ahead and look at the posters, and I'm going to have you vote on which one you get to pick one. We're going to count votes here. Which one is your favorite? Just from what you can see there. So let's start. I'll give you a minute to look at them. Okay, and then Susie, I might have you help me tally votes. Okay, this is poster number 1. Who likes poster number 1? Okay. Okay, keep your hands up. Susie's counting hands. Okay, good. All right, 45. Let's put a sticky on this one for number 45. Poster number 2. Okay, I can count. So give that one maybe 8. Poster number 3. I get 5. Okay. 45, 8, and 5. Okay. Why do you guys like this poster? What is it about this poster? From where you can't read anything on it. What do you like about this poster? Colors? Yeah. What else? Less words. There you go. You're learning what else? Size? I'm sorry, what's that? Easy to see. Yeah. What was you? Symmetrical. The layout. Yeah. Yeah. Not very cluttered. Yeah. It's clean. Good. Okay. That's good. Okay. What do you like about this one? Data. Yeah. It's got a lot of good data, a lot of good charts on it. Again, a lot of nice information. Okay. What about this one? What do you like about it? Breaks down scientific process. Good scores there. Yeah. Okay. What don't you like about this one? Too much text? Yeah. What's that? The layout's not, yeah, doesn't flow as well. Yeah. Okay. So you can kind of see there's some there's some layout, color, very subjective things about the posters. Okay. So you need to keep that in mind when you're laying your poster out. And what I'm going to talk about a little bit later, when you're laying your poster out, you need to be able to try a bunch of different ideas quickly, probably on a whiteboard or on sketching something. Don't try your ideas in PowerPoint, because what happens is, with me, I get invested in something, and even though it's not so good, I don't want to change it because I got all this time in it. So when you're starting your poster layout, try a bunch of ideas rapidly and be ready to throw things out. And you could just do, you know, uh, sketches on a whiteboard is probably the best. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Next slide. Okay. So we'll come back to the actual poster, but I want to talk about the judges. And this is what the judges are going to be looking for. So let's talk about, and we'll walk through each one of these. And I think that on the Techxpo website, these sheets are out there. Okay. So this is what the judges are going to be looking for. And there's four main judging areas that are listed there. The 1 minute why. We'll talk about that. Technical and scientific information, the presentation, quality of the presentation, and the value of the work, or the value proposition of the work that you're doing. So let's go to the next slide, please, Susie. Okay. So the 1 minute why is your opportunity to sell. Okay. And um, I worked for an engineering company for almost 30 years, and they're very successful at selling. Okay. And our motto was selling is teaching. So you're not trying to sell a used car, you're trying to sell somebody on the technology or the expertise of your project. And the way to do that is to explain to them in simple terms what sometimes can be a very complex topic. So that's the key to selling is teaching fundamentals, right? So now, which is kind of nice because for us engineers who are mostly introverted, we can fall back on things we know. Okay? And it's like I say, this speaking is a foreign topic for most of us engineers because we tend to be introverted, right? And so what they say, the introverted um, engineer looks at his shoes when he talks to you. But do you know what an extroverted engineer is? He looks at your shoes when he talks to you. So anyway, so what we want to do is practice um, talking and selling. And the first thing is to introduce yourself, keep the message really simple. And we're going to use an example. And again, your target here is a first year tech student for as far as the level of the technical discussion. So if you start spouting, you know, differential equations or some jargon that only a few people in your major know, you're going to lose them. Okay. You need to meet them at their level. Okay. And then also think that maybe you're selling to a technical investor. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. So the way I logically go about this is, one is you need to explain the context of your work. Okay, what's it all about in layman's terms? Okay. Then you need to explain the key points of your solution or your approach, again, in layman's terms. And then finally, you need to close or conclude with what's the value added, the value proposition, lower cost, improved performance, better return on investment, something like that. Okay. And I've got a 1 minute why I'm going to try on you, and I may flunk, but I found some great examples in the link here on the bottom of this slide. There's actually a 31-minute why presentations out there for students that are doing poster sessions, and there's some pretty good ones. Go ahead. Yeah. Oh, the calculation on return on investment. Um, I think you just need to explain that it's a wise investment. So I think you may want to have the formula available to show there be, I would bet most people are not going to ask on that, but say this is a smart investment. I would leave it at that level. Yes. Yep. Correct. Correct. All right. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay. So this is a project I'm working on with a couple students. I don't know if Garrett or Michael's here. There you go. All right, Garrett. Okay. So this would be a figure that I would put on my on my poster. And for the 1 minute why, I would explain that there are scores of geothermal systems around the world that use mine water for space heating. Most of them are in service for a couple years and then they break down because they're complex. Okay. But we've come up with a innovative new design that uses a simple heat exchanger that has no moving parts and two simple low maintenance stainless steel pumps that move the mine water up into the UMEX shop, and they can keep that shop heated to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, even in the coldest Butte winter days. Okay. We're also routing our piping through the mine shaft access tunnel. So if there's leaks, it's easy to repair. And then we're using an energy efficient hydronic concrete floor that radiates the mine water heat into the shop. Okay. And we're able to do this at a cost comparable to natural gas and at a fraction of the cost of propane or electricity. So I didn't time myself, but that was about a minute. So that's the level of the 1 minute why I would go into. Now we've got calculations on heat transfer and all that. I might put a couple formulas on there or a little more detail on my poster, but I have all that information in a report that shows that we did all the first principle calculations. We've got the energy calculations, the energy cost calculations, and all that backup. But that's the 1 minute why. Does that make sense? So again, I tried to explain it. I tried to put the context about a bunch of geothermal systems around the world. Then I explained the problem was they're complex and they break down. And then I explained our approach. We're going to go with a simple passive heat exchanger versus a very expensive heat pump that's got motors and compressors in it. We're going very simple. And then the other problem is these systems tend to leak and you have to dig them up to repair. So we're going to route the piping through the access tunnel. If it leaks, we're going to know. And then finally, we've done a cost analysis and we show that it's less expensive than uh, propane or electric and on par with natural gas. And I suppose you could talk about carbon reduction as well. But anyway, that's the approach I took there. Notice I didn't have any formulas, any tried to not to use any terminology that would be foreign to anybody. Does it make sense? Okay. Next slide. Okay. All right. Back to the judge's score sheet. So we went through that was the 1 minute why. The next one is technical and scientific. Okay, so what are they going to look for? They're going to look that you followed the scientific method. Okay, background methods, results, discussion, conclusion, etc. You can put those topics on as headers on your poster. Some people do that successfully. You don't need to, but you're going to need the judges are going to be looking for that. So you need to have something probably beyond your 1 minute why on how you followed the scientific method. Okay. They're also going to want to see that you've applied first principles, stuff you learned in freshman and sophomore year in your engineering classes, F equals MA and things like that, energy equations, heat transfer, you name it. They're going to want to see some of that or referencing engineering standards. We followed, IEEE or, 1549, et cetera. Okay. Then also you're going to make a pitch for the value proposition. You got to show some proof. We used to say, in God we trust, all others bring data. Okay. So you need to show your engineering proof, and you can do that two ways. You can do it by analysis. We did the math and here's the proof, or by test. We actually, broke some things or measured some things. So there's two different ways to do that. Go ahead, Susie. All right. The next category the judges are looking for is presentation. Okay, so this is a little bit more what is it, right brain, I guess. And you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna be nervous. That's okay. A little bit of nervous energy is good. Be yourself and be professional. Dress well. I don't usually wear a jacket and tie to school. Sometimes I do, but I wore one today on purpose to make a point. Okay. You can always take the tie off if you don't want it, but it helps you look professional, dress professionally. Okay. The next one I put on there was take pride in your professional work. Okay. And read between the lines is make sure your poster's perfect. Be picky. Okay. Have a second set of eyes look on it. Make sure there's no errors. Okay. People will pick up on it. They're going to look at, oh, you could judge these posters here from 30 feet away. Okay. Make sure that poster is perfect. Okay. And also welcome guests promptly. If you're a single person and there's a bunch of people there, there's only so much you can do. But if there's a couple of you on a team and you got people stacked up in front of your poster, once you have one person talk to the first person and the second person go around and welcome the next person in line, and be friendly. Okay, treat them with welcome them with a smile. And so this the picture here on the right, that's Horst Schulze, and he was the founder of the Ritz-Carlton hotel chain, one of the world's most successful hotel chains. Excellent at presentation and customer service. And we used to have him come talk to our company to train us on presenting and customer service. And he goes, every customer wants three things. Every customer. And he's this gruff Austrian guy. He goes, don't argue with me. We've researched this. He goes, every customer wants quality. They want to see a good poster. They want promptness. They don't want to wait around. Okay. And the third thing is they want you to be friendly. They want to smile. So every customer wants that. So think about that on your day. So be on your toes. Okay. The next thing is I talked about prep. Memorize your 1 minute why. And I actually had to write mine down here. Luckily, I didn't have to read it. I remembered enough of it to muscle my way through it. But memorize that. Okay. Then you can use your poster as a prop. Just like I use the slides for a prop here. I'm trying not to read everything off the slides, but get the point across to you. But you can use your poster as a prop, point at things, use your hands, and then practice. Practice makes perfect. Next slide, please. Okay. Now, then finally, they're going to want to look at the value proposition. And on this, you have to show that why your solution is unique or solves a problem or reduces cost. And again, you need to validate this with some type of engineering analysis or test. Okay. Go ahead, next slide. Okay. Any questions so far? All right, so let's look at the template. Okay, so on the Techxpo website, there's a PowerPoint template, and I printed one out just to make sure it works. Okay, and so you'll be authoring in PowerPoint, which is a great tool. And this template, you can move stuff around, and I encourage you to do that. If everybody shows up with their poster looking like this, everybody's going to get the same score. Okay, but what's on here are the font sizes. So 44-point font for text, or you can change that if you want, but this is a suggestion for it's readable at 10 feet away. 60-point font on the headers. The logo, that's the logo that we want you to use. Okay. And again, you can move stuff around to make it work best in your poster. And you notice the posters we have up here are all a little bit different. And then there's the pick and hammer. If you want to use that, you can do that. So this is there for your reference. Okay, so you can go ahead and use this. And then when you're ready to print it, turn it into a PDF, and then there's some directions on there on the website, but Donna Conrad, I keep wanting to call her Carlson, but Donna Conrad will be doing the printing for us. Okay. And she's not going to be able to make any changes. So when you make your poster, have another set of eyes look at it. Okay. It's always good, even if it's somebody that's not on your project team, just have somebody look at it for cosmetics and layout and so forth. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. And I think I already covered this, so we didn't go over it, but have fun and try a lot of ideas quickly and be prepared to throw them out. We used to say to have one good idea is you need to have 100 bad ones. Okay. So try a bunch of ideas and get some feedback. Next slide. Okay. All right. And here's this is on the Techxpo website, but create a PDF and send it to Donna. And she wants those between April 3 and 11. So a couple weeks before the actual Techxpo event. You can print it out on your own if you want, but she's got the plotter 36 by 48, and she's also got some of the cardboard backing. And she'll even, if you ask her now, she'll staple it together for you. So, anyway. Okay, I think the next slide's yours, Susie.
Okay, so this is the schedule for the day of Techxpo. It says it on the website, but and I will send all of you emails reiterating this. But we will set up for Techxpo the night before. There will be probably about a 3-hour window where you can come in and set up your project because it is just too cumbersome trying to do it the day of. I mean, there's always a few that have conflicts in their schedule, but for the most part, we don't want a bunch of people trying to set up the day of when the judges are coming in. So you'll get an email stating that. But the day of the event, when you check in, you will come to the registration desk and you will get your name badge. And then so you'll be judged based on whatever category you enter. But then there's also some Chancellor Awards that will be awarded. There's 3 Chancellor Awards, one based on innovation, one based on scientific insight, and one based on professionalism. Now, these 3 Chancellor Awards will be based solely on how you do on your 1-minute why. Okay, so all of you will be judged on professionalism. So everyone has a shot at the professionalism award. But the scientific insight and the innovation, you will need to choose one category or the other. And when you check in that morning or that afternoon at the registration desk and get your name badge, you'll let us know what Chancellor Award between those two that you want to be judged in. And like I said, they're based solely on the 1-minute why. So then there will be 3 separate awards given in addition to the categories that you have already registered to be part of, such as 1 semester, 2 semester graduate projects, etc. Okay, so be prepared when you decide, when you tell them at the registration desk what portion of the Chancellor Award you want to be considered for, you will be given a colored flag. And that is how the judges will know what section you want to be judged in. Your judges, when they come around, they will have a ribbon on their name badge that says judge. And those that are coming around just strictly for the Chancellor Awards will have Chancellor Award judge on their name badge. And it'll be a colored ribbon, so it'll stand out. Okay, so as far as judging goes, judging will start promptly at 1:45. It will go until 4:15. Now, there's a lot of you that are involved in group projects. And I understand that it's hard for everyone to be there the entire time. However, if the judge makes an attempt to come to your project to judge you and you are not there, they will make a second, sometimes maybe even a third attempt to stop back by. But if you're not there, you won't be judged and you will not be eligible for cash prizes. If you are part of a team, the entire team does not have to be there the whole time. It looks good if you are, but realistically speaking, that doesn't always happen. So, just so you know, if you're not there, you're not judged. And then we will conclude the day. We'll hand out awards and we'll have a nice little fun reception for everybody. Okay. And I just want to reiterate too, as far as poster printing, you get one copy and that's covered for free through Techxpo. If you mess up your poster, if you get it printed and then you notice you've got a bunch of errors, then you're on your own. You'll have to pay for it. Okay. So, and Donna cannot be going through and making edits for people. So make sure your poster is print ready is when you send it to Donna. And then the last thing that I have is there was a couple of clipboards going around for you all to sign in on. So please make sure that you sign in on one of them before you leave. Any questions?
Okay. Any other questions for me or for Rick? Rick, did you want to add anything?
Techxpo. Techxpo is a great time. It's a chance to show sort of what you've done. The 2 semester projects for the last year, 1 semester project for the last semester, grad projects. I mean, PhD students have been here for 4 or 5 years. So you got a chance to like show exactly what you've done, be proud of what you did. Hopefully your mentors don't allow you to fail. So what you did is going to be really, really good and you should be proud of it. So take that mindset when you're standing there, have fun with it. Hopefully it's medals. So there'll be a reception at it, medals will have food and drink. So it's a chance to celebrate, right? A lot of the Techxpo presentations are done by seniors. So you've spent 4 years here, you should be proud of it. Take that mindset, have a good time with it. If you're having fun with your project, the judges will know you had fun with your project and happy, smiling, that sort of stuff. It just comes across.
Great. And if anybody has any other questions for me, or if you want a little help with your 1 minute why or your poster, reach out and I'll be happy to help. So, okay, well,
This Bob's PowerPoint and a copy of this recording will be available on the Techxpo website, hopefully at the latest by tomorrow afternoon. So you can go back and reference.
all right, great. Thanks, everyone.